Hi, everybody. Recruiting Animal here on October 27th, 2021. Look at the lineup we've got already. Tom Chuna, Chuna. Tom, how come they call it tuna fish instead of just tuna?
Because that's got to be redundant. People, I think they just forget what they're talking about.
Tuna fish. Does anybody know? There's a new girl here. Sorry, new guest, new panelist, Claudia David. Okay. Do you know why tuna fish instead of tuna?
I have no idea.
Rich?
Or do I care?
Rich?
I do not know.
Rich, I got to tell you, just this posting, I'm going to talk about it. Rich came on he had this disagreement with this woman. And he said, I've been in business 21 years making tons of money. Okay. And David Perry and all these other people agree with me. Okay. I couldn't believe it. You really piled on her. But let me just finish the introductions. Claudia, do you have a website that you want to tell us that represents you or anything like that?
I mean, I have my own company called Red Zone Talent where I do a lot of career coaching. But right now I work at a global staffing firm.
Yeah, I don't have to know your company. I just wanted to know if you wanted to promote. I give everybody a chance to promote. Do you have, is it redzone.com or something like that?
Redzonetalent.com.
Redzonetalent.com. She's never going to
She places NFL referees.
Okay, Tom Chuna, you don't have a website, do you?
No, just my LinkedIn, Thomas Patrick Chuna, my full blast name. Go there, like it, say hi, share stuff I talk about.
And he's a martial artist. Okay, and I'll get to what he does. TheSalesRecruiter.com. I don't know why I'm doing all the introductions so soon. Raise your hand, sales recruiter. Michael G. Conks. Rich has left already. I scared Rich away. Okay.
You bored him already.
Clang.so. He's a programmer come IT recruiter who built his own ATS. Clang.so. Look, you know what? Rich left because he's afraid to take you on directly. Okay, Tom Chuna. Let's go. Okay, let's go with the question. Sorry, I'm always asking stupid things at the start. Okay, Tom says, I recruit for a group of residential home service companies, plumbing, HVAC, and electrical. That's still the same. Am I right, Tom?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but you said there's other companies, franchisees in the same group that you're involved in, and they're very impressed with the recruiting you do for your group of franchisees, and they want to get you to work for them as well. But not directly. They didn't come to you directly. They went to the guys you're working with and wanted to rent you from them. So you have to do a split. That was the issue. You had to do a split with your clients because they were giving you a referral. Am I right?
Yeah, yes.
I don't like that. Andy Bass. Hey, okay, I'll come back to you later. What happened?
Hey, what's up?
Rich, not Rich. Tom, what happened? How much? They wanted 50-50. You said no.
No, I told my overlords that I can do a 60-40 split my way. So I get the lion's share because all you people do is just stand there and really do nothing. And
they gave you a referral, essentially. You're not their employee.
You're a contractor. I am also a direct employee.
I'll move on. I'll move on. I'm wasting my time with that. Okay. You said the secret to success is to fold often and don't stake everything on cards that are dog shit. Okay, do you want to explain that or should I?
Well, I just got done playing some Texas Hold'em, I think, when I posted that. Very, very recent memory. And yeah, you just walk away from stuff. You got to look at the probability of the shot. You get crap openings, crap candidates.
This was the issue. I didn't set it up well. It was an interesting posting. If a company has unrealistic expectations, you categorize it as a C company. They're not going to be your priority. If they want you to lower your fee, advise them to work with someone else. Okay, that's what you're talking about. Am I right?
Yeah, those are D-level companies for dog shit. Not C, but D. A little lower, Michael. Okay. A little lower. Pardon my French.
Yeah. I am Michael. He's the animal.
That's right.
No. He's Michael. He's Michael because you can't give a nickname to yourself. We go over this every call. That's why it's not cool.
Okay, well, then
here's the posting. Let me get with it, okay? Once I learn how to edit, I'll take all this stuff out. Someone said, another recruiter, I introduced a candidate to a company 17 months ago. They didn't hire him, But after a year, he pursued them on his own and they hired him. Rich said, send an invoice. Tom said, Tom said, I might be asking myself, how did I do such a bad job of building trust with the candidate and friendship that they felt they needed to go around me?
Yeah, that's great. I always blame myself in situations like that.
Come
What
on,
did I
what
do
kind
wrong?
of trust and friendship? Does anybody agree with him?
I don't agree with either. I would say maybe
Yeah.
maybe the employer just forgot that it came from Tom because somehow it ended up in their applicant
17
tracking
months.
system.
That's 17.
But it could
didn't come
be
from Tom.
Tom's responsibility to remind them, hey, man, I sent you this
A
candidate
year and a
Yeah.
half ago.
a year and a half ago. Is that the way you're going to do me?
Yeah, but
But
they don't
isn't,
have
like,
any.
most guarantees,
The
like, I don't-
recruiter, wait, the recruiter doesn't have any claim after a
No,
year
he
and a half.
doesn't. But again, relying upon the relationship that Tom is talking about, then I don't know where he's at.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
I'm
Then
not relying
maybe
on
you have to
anything, but-
leverage that relationship. But if you don't have a relationship, you got nothing.
Well,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah,
a relationship?
but
Claudia
even
wants
it's
Claudia
not-
wants to
even-
say something.
Even if you don't have a relationship with someone, if you found someone that was great, you should do your due diligence to just touch base so then you can prove that you've talked to this person over and over throughout that time. And
Yeah.
then just send them and say, hey, this is,
Thank you.
send them a set. Once you find out that person applied to that job that you had submitted them to, I'd say, hey, this is someone I presented to you, so-and-so, whatever. It's still someone I presented to you and you still hire them. So it's still
Yeah.
the work that I did.
No, but then the person applied again on his or her
It doesn't
own.
matter. It doesn't matter.
No, animal, maybe a tactic is, and I've done this, I did this recently with a very large company that was really sketch. I sent them another note with the resume attached. We still had an open agreement. And I said, hey, Claudia, are you guys sure you're not interested in having a conversation with Tom over here? I submitted him 6 months ago. Just wanted to have a conversation with you about this candidate. Now we reset that clock. Now it's going to be maybe 2 years, depending on your contract.
Did it work?
Ivan wanted to say
That's
something.
genius.
Clank, go ahead.
Like Michael J.
That's
Cox,
a good
like
one.
again, genius advice.
Gee.
I followed your advice today. Like, hey, you can stop the interview anytime. Like you can, like I use your wisdom,
Oh, yeah,
Michael
yeah,
J.
yeah,
Cox.
yeah.
Especially
What did you?
like
What did he
since-
teach you? No, what did you learn today from Michael G. Cox? I didn't understand that.
No, last time. Like, so he said, so basically a candidate just 2 minutes before this started, like, I don't want to apply at this company because it doesn't fit me. And he's wrong. Like, it's 100% fits this guy. So I'm like, look, you can have like a first interview call and then you can still say no because you will have a half an hour with the CEO. And if you say then, hey, this job is really not for me, all good. But if you say now this job is not for me, hey, like you just read the job description, like if
Oh,
like,
okay. So go
like,
in and
you know,
take a look. Tom Chuna,
Just
if I
a very
remember
long
correctly.
series of baby steps. And at any point in this conversation, you can step away from it and we'll say, hey, didn't make sense. Easy
Yeah,
it
out.
just sounds
okay.
better in English than it does sound in German, but I try to use the same.
Yeah.
German is so aggressive.
No, maybe that's what you need as a recruiter. You go
Yeah.
company. Okay.
Hey, my ex-wife was German. She was a very frightening woman.
X.
Now that explains why she's your ex.
All
Okay,
right.
then
Part
let
of
me
the
get
show.
back to Tom Chuna here. Tom would say, pull it away. You believe I wish I don't have the note in front of me at this moment to quote you because you're very brutal. But if they say I'm not sure, but tough luck for you, buddy. Am I right, Tom? Or will
Yeah,
you
I tell
ruin-
them maybe you're not the right person. Or I'll say, you know what? I'll tell them you're out and catch you on the flip-flop and go do something else.
Yeah. You say, oh no, you actually say if they get an offer and they say they have to think about it, you'll say, well, maybe it's not for you. Maybe I should present another candidate. Am I right?
Yeah, yep. We'll go with somebody else.
How long do you give them to think about it?
I usually on the first call, yeah, I'll tell you what, it depends on the attitude. If they sound somewhat sincere, I might tell them, take all the time you want. And I put this on one of your threads this morning. What I'll do is I'll say, you know what, take all the time you need, but be aware the world is not a static place. Doors open and they close just as fast as they open. Or if they really seem non-committal, like I'm getting a lot of attitude, then I just jerk it from them. I just jerk it from them on that call. Or
What's a
maybe
lot of
when I-
attitude? What's a lot of attitude?
Oh, some people, well, I want enthusiasm. Okay. I want them to be excited about what we're doing. And if they just, you can read a lot on the phone. We've all been doing what we do for a long time. You can read people. So if they sound non-committal, you sound like you're going to get ghosted, you jerk it from them. Takeaway close is the best. But we don't do that. What we do is we coddle candidates. We give them, we change their diaper for them. We give them cold drinks and a hot compress. What we need to do is go back to the days of candidate paid fees. Okay, that will ensure compliance
Which market
and a
you
whole
use?
lot less sass.
In which market you use?
Wow.
Does anybody want to take them on?
How would that work?
Yes.
I disagree.
No, like,
Everybody does.
Listen, I disagree.
can I ask you more importantly, what happened to
this.
tuna fish
Let
thing?
Claudia, she's her first
Oh.
time. Let Claudia go. Andy,
No,
I'll
thank
introduce you in a second.
Well, like as far as like people not taking offers, like that's kind of your fault if they don't accept it right away, because you should have locked them down through the entire process and shown you that what you're talking about, commitment to the job, in my opinion. So when someone does get to the point and they're telling you no, I already know that they might have an issue with it because they might have another offer somewhere else, but I'm still going to sell them on mine. So if someone at the end is telling you that, you did something not right throughout your process.
So
you
you're
should have
saying
known.
you never get surprised, Claudia. You're the one recruiter who just
No, because they tell me I am interviewing somewhere else and I'm going to wait because somebody else is going to give me an offer. I know that that's going to happen and that's fine. But that I already know that up front. I don't get surprised if someone's going to tell me I'm going to think about it. Like that doesn't happen to me, and it hasn't happened to me for years.
Mario R. Welcome.
Hey. Claudia, I have a question. What niche do you recruit in?
I've recruited in everything. Right now, it's sales and technology.
But I was very
Okay.
impressed by her. She used to do heavy machinery. If she becomes a guest,
Nice.
I'll bring that up. It was very impressive. Hold on, Andy Bass. What's your full name? Basovich, right?
Almost.
What is it? I can't remember.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, B-A-S. He calls himself Andy Bass.
BASKKOB.
And what service are you promoting now? Give us the URL.
We're continuing to promote new work. We're currently doing some.
Hey, I asked you for a domain name, okay? You look who
Okay,
you're talking to.
NUWORK.me.
Give me again.
NUWORK.me.
Great. Okay, you know, you should have a better pitch, okay? Recruiting Animal, this is my domain name, and this is what it does in 30 seconds. Now, this is where Stupad's Rich disappeared, okay? Rich.
I'm here. I'm here.
He's
I'm
back.
just trying to have some lunch. I'm good.
You don't want us
I
to
lost
see you
power
eat?
before.
Okay. Rich
lost
said, okay, well, where is it here? Okay, I don't know. Rich was complaining that his client was an internal recruiter. He was dealing with the internal recruiter. She sent a note, an email to his candidate, a sales director, and said, "I want to set up a meeting with you." Blah blah blah. And the guy said 10:30 Wednesday. Just something. Texted it back, and she said to Rich, she didn't like that. Right? It was just too brief. It made her feel uncomfortable about the
Oh, yeah.
candidate. Am I right, Rich?
Yeah, something like along those
And
lines.
Tom
Yeah,
said you were wrong. He said that would make me uncomfortable as well. It's too abrupt.
Oh,
For your
yeah.
feelings,
Talk about
Tom. Get over it.
exactly.
Did I say that?
They asked for. Tom
Doesn't sound
Tom
like
doesn't
me.
seem the type that's going to get that easily offended
Yeah.
based on his last answer.
Yeah,
So-
no, I really wouldn't be, but
Yeah.
I
I mean,
don't recall. I'm gonna,
Maybe Tom said that just to go against Rich, which is also a lot of fun.
there you go.
I do that a lot if you've noticed.
Yeah, I mean, who gets offended? They ask for a time, you got a time. What do you need to give her hugs and kisses because she's setting it up? I mean, this is what you're doing.
You were really rough because this woman said, she said, I agree with them. I can't stand getting a text reply back to a professional email. And Rich said, you can't be
Talk about take the
serious.
diapers off. God.
Yeah, you
Oh my
said,
God.
are you an internal recruiter? You must be, because you can't be serious. A simple question only deserves a simple answer. Then that's when Tom said it would rub me the wrong way too. Now he's denying it.
I can't buy time, but Tom would deny that.
Okay.
You know,
Ernie, foodindustryrecruiter.com. You want to comment? No? I can't hear a word he's saying. Okay, there's so many people here today. I try to include
The
everybody,
full
but
house.
if you want to say something, just speak up, okay? Andy Bass, I know you're soft-spoken. Clang.so, you're soft-spoken.
on.
I don't think Claudia is as soft-spoken as I was concerned about at the beginning, so I don't have to worry about her, okay?
What's the story with the tuna fish? I lost power. I missed the
Well,
answer.
nobody knows the answer. Okay.
Annoying.
And why do people say tuna fish and not just tuna?
Does
Yeah.
anybody have an issue they'd like to raise that they've been thinking about and they want to get professional advice for free from all around the world? Anybody got an issue? Even you, Tom, maybe you want Rich to advise you about something.
I had a candidate that just left after about 2 or 3 weeks in the job. Now I got to refill it. It's a 20K fee, and that's kind of annoying. I sent him lovely notes though.
Do you have payback, or you have to like find for free like a replacement?
No, man, it wasn't a retained search, so they were about to pay it. He was like 3 weeks in, and I've got net 30, so they were going to pay the
But don't
fee.
you?
And now they're like,
wait, Mike, don't you have it? So as soon as the person starts, you're owed the fee.
yes, and
So you're owed the fee. So then tell them
they have to pay next week.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna
it
say,
sure
we're
would
just saying-
make things a whole lot nicer if I
No
find another
guarantee?
candidate the next
Rich, are
week.
you saying he shouldn't have a guarantee?
No,
your guarantee is only valid if they pay the fee.
Exactly.
It becomes a retainer, basically.
No.
So,
They
No.
are going to
Yeah.
pay. This is not the first one that I've placed with them, already working others. It's just pissed me off that this guy
just sucks.
flaked
Yeah.
out.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've got a
Okay.
fantastic situation. I mean, Ivan, the same thing what happened to you a few weeks back happened to me. One
What
of
was
my top, a candidate whom I placed in June, I think. Yeah, he started on June 12th. He was terminated just one day after the 90-day period. So what happened is I'm on very
You
good
get a
terms with the
fee.
CEO. Yeah, I got the fee in 30 days, man. If not, there's no guarantee. If not, go hang yourself. Okay. What happened is now the CEO got back to me saying this guy's performance was really bad. He was an a-hole. All right. There was a situation like what happened to you, right? I spoke to them, offered them a discount, and decided, just to leave some cash on the table because I'm expecting future business from them. So, well, I
So
offered
they
a
also
60%
basically
discount.
the money was
that
gone,
boring
and then how much
story-
discount you give?
Yeah, it's a
How
boring
much
story, but
discount you
Sorry,
give?
yeah, okay. You and Michael G. Cox are going to wreck the show between the two of you. Okay, here, look,
Mission accomplished.
yeah,
Yeah.
here's a guy.
It
Here's
took
a
me how
guy
many
named
years, Mike?
Here's
Yeah.
a guy named Gareth. He said, common hubris, I hope you guys understand that word, among recruiters it's like vanity, okay? Is that they mean that they think they have the best candidates. I could find 20 people for most jobs easily. There's never just one person for one job. He's crazy. I've never experienced that. Anybody, starting with Tom, want to comment?
No, I've always found that there's the one person that everybody really likes, and everyone else is an also-ran. And I always believe that I've got.
Hold on a second. If that's true, and you've got so much a belief in the one top candidate, how can you afford to say, hey, you're not ready to take the job? I got other people. How can you have the guts to do that? You're going to lose them.
I'll go find somebody else.
No, I
I'm not
don't
going to
think
beg.
You
Anybody
just
would-
said there's one good person. You don't have tons of good people.
I can go find more. That's in the eyes of my hiring authority. They want the one person that they want. That's what I'm telling
Anybody
you.
else? They got
Yeah,
20.
find the
I
right
can find
person.
20
Not
people
listening.
for your job.
The most strangest case I had about 20 people on every job possible, is when I was searching for a sales manager for oil and gas company that sold oil from Africa to other countries. And they were searching, the owners were from the Eastern Europe, from Ukraine. And they were searching for a person from Ukraine that knows English, that knows French, that knows Ukrainian. They wanted the person to be from the eastern part of Ukraine. The person also had to have experience in working in Africa. And also,
You didn't hear the first question. What was the one
Sorry?
about?
Sorry?
This is an
Shit,
excellent
gotta walk
conversation.
away. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, like we started sourcing for such candidates in the Ukraine and found out that we have only like 7 for the whole history of job sites and everything. We scraped all the databases, tried to find something. And
So
yes,
the
it was
point you're coming to is that
Is
some
that
candidates are
20
rare.
20 candidates. We didn't have
such
20
thing.
candidates at all.
No such thing.
Nobody-
Anybody else,
I
Claudia?
don't
Do you
think
always have
anybody in their
20
right
candidates?
mind is gonna.
Let's let the new
I mean-
girl answer. 20 candidates on every search you could supply, no problem.
Hell
No, but no, just they're gonna go on a scale of if they're good or not. But usually the goal for me is to have 2 really good ones out of like what is found, and then I move on.
Some of these
And-
jobs, if you get 2 of them, you're lucky. Rich,
Mhm.
20
If you get
candidates.
one, you're lucky.
3
Yeah.
to 4 a client. You send
No,
3
no,
to
I
4
mean, that's
people out of
what's-
Like I
company.
Sorry,
said, it's a sliding scale. They're not all A+ players. But if I'm
Yeah.
gonna submit 2, I'm gonna submit an A and a B- or a C, then that's fine because that's what
The way they
I
were
submit.
going on with
hang on,
Andy
hang on.
here, I
It's a-
suspect 5
hang on.
languages from this street in the eastern Ukraine or the western Ukraine, and I want them to be a PhD as well. Okay?
Should they be left-handed too? Is that one
Yeah,
of the
I mean,
requirements?
let's
That
ask
Andre,
It depends on what your
uh,
site, what the job
well-
is. If this guy's placing, whatever, just, caterers or something, you can find 100 people to go serve food.
Okay, but
So-
we're headhunters.
I
Mario,
don't know,
Mario the
people make
recruiter.
some money.
.com. I
And-
forgot to give
Yeah.
your domain.
No
Mario
problem.
the
It's cool. It's
recruiter.
cool. Andre, do the candidates have to work in Africa?
Sorry?
Do the candidates have to work in Africa?
Exactly. They are
Oh.
willing to relocate as well. That's
Oh,
it.
that's tough. That's tough as shit. Yeah, forget it. You're gone. You can't do that.
Sounds like Mario had somebody.
Did you say no?
Hey,
or did you
I have
say
done.
yes?
I have
Yes,
done
yes,
business
yes.
in Africa. I know how it is. Okay, it ain't easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could find 20 guys, 19 couldn't pass the drug test. I'll say that.
Oh, yeah. For you, well, your trades, you got the tradesman, right? You know, but
Oh.
even tradespeople are not all equal. My friend runs a plumbing company, and some were really good, and some were useless. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I just went round and round with my insurance company. I can't even hire people that have a medical marijuana card because my insurance company won't insure them to drive my trucks.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's a problem in your field. Let me move on. How do you handle ingrates? Okay, now I kind of know Tom's answer already, but listen to this story. A recruiter presented an offer for a job the candidate had said was her dream job. Okay, Claudia says you have to keep talking with the people about, that are they really interested? She said it was her dream job. They offered her the money she wanted plus an extra week of paid vacation. When the recruiter calls to tell the candidate, the only thing she said was,
What happened to the animal?
Oh,
and
Crashed
she'll call
out.
back tomorrow.
my God.
Animals lost his connection.
Animals, you
Said,
crashed.
is there,
Finally, the
Dang.
show's gonna be good.
Yeah, there we go.
it
Hey,
says,
if he starts talking again, just ignore him.
Yeah.
Pretend you can't hear him.
I can hear you. Can you not hear me?
Can't hear you.
Now we can.
No,
You hear
can hear.
something?
I can't
So
hear him.
what the candidate say?
The candidate says, I'm cooking rice. I've got guests for dinner. It's
Oh
2:30 in the
yeah.
afternoon. She says, I'll call you back tomorrow. The recruiter was pissed off. I mean, really, what's going on? Tommy, what would you say?
Oh, I'd be like, fine, whatever. I'd let it go for a day. Cause like I said in the thread, she probably wants a minute to think or whatever. Yeah. But the next day, if I didn't hear anything after a couple of hours, I call her back and then I take it from her. I'd say, you know what?
Wouldn't you expect them to say, gee, Tom, that's great. Thanks very much. You know what? I've got something on the stove right now. I've got to watch. Okay. This is just like that thing with the short reply for Rich. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Is that okay, Rich? You call
Like,
someone
so-
up after you've worked hard on a search for them. You say, I got a great offer for you. And she says, I'm cooking rice. Don't bug me. Okay. How would you take that, Rich?
I would feel like, are you seriously interested?
What?
Are you seriously interested in the opportunity?
Is that what you would say right then and there?
100%. Let me ask you a question. If someone's going to change a job and if I say, Animal, you just interviewed for this job and you're interviewing for 5 other things, most likely in this market. I call you and say, hey, I've got this offer. And like, yeah, call me later. I'm not really that excited about it. You know, I mean, or you say, if you're cooking rice or whatever stupid thing you're doing, someone's going to give you an offer, give you a raise, give you money, and you're not that interested in it. I mean, if you're going to push it off. If you're interested, you're going to move forward. It's like, oh, great. Hang on a second.
I have a lot of follow-up questions about that comment. Like, did the person know all this really cool stuff, or they did not?
She told her. She told her. Okay, it was already established. It's her dream job. At least that's what she claimed.
Clearly not.
And she knew that they were getting more money, vacation, all this.
She told her on the phone, how much does it take? Look, this is what they're offering. 125K plus an extra 3. So you got 3 weeks of vacation, fully paid. Okay, what do you think? You know what? I'm cooking rice. Call me back tomorrow. Okay.
Well, I could tell you right now, right there, I'd be like, hey guys, they're giving you the offer, so you got to let me know right now. Stop cooking the rice, and if not, we can just call someone else.
Okay.
And that's usually the type of tone I will take. And if we hang up the phone, I text again and be like, hey, make sure you let me know immediately what you want to do with this.
Immediately.
Yep.
Immediately. So what if she didn't get back? So you're putting a line in the sand that if she's,
Yep.
I think you're too tough, Mario.
What if it's the only candidate who's going to get an offer? What are you going to do then? That's my question.
That's a good question.
Say what now?
What if it's the only candidate?
What if she's,
the only candidate who is
Ukrainian from a certain part of the country?
Think about it. If the person isn't excited for the role when you're telling them what they are, you're not going to have them anyway. So if you put a hard line in the sand, then you can get an answer.
Take a hike.
You don't have to tell the client that they haven't said. You can still work through it.
Especially Claudia and I are both placing salespepeople. If the sales guy's not excited about what they're selling, they're not going to be good, and they're not going to stick around. They're just going to break your heart.
That's true. That I'll agree. Yeah. It depends on the niche. Then if I'm correct.
Hold on a second.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. Everyone thinks it depends on a niche. Like sales guys are easy. Sales guys are fucking hard. I'll tell you.
I agree with you on that.
Every niche is truly the same. I've placed people in tons of different areas, and it doesn't matter if it's an engineer or whatever. Engineers aren't going to get as excited, maybe, but some do. The guys that really want the job are. I've placed plenty of super techies as well. So, it just you gotta have a little. It's the little bit of control you can have on a candidate is basically dictating. Hey, listen, you're going to get the offer. You're not going to get the offer. If you're not excited about it, then let's just pass now. Look for the next thing.
I like the fact that she left the door open and went back at him with a text message. I'm not sure if I would be as aggressive, but I like it, and I definitely like the fact that she's keeping the door open because. Look, there may be another opportunity sometime in the very near future, especially right now in this job market, and you want to be able to keep those lines of communication open. Hey, this one wasn't good for you. Just as a recap, it's all of this.
Claudia sounds like she's willing to burn bridges with that person. Am I right, Michael G. Cox?
I think you're pushing that a little hard. This is just to get a reaction out of my candidate.
I'm not. She says I'll text her. You got to make up your mind right now. I'm not deaf, okay? My internet went out for a second. That's all.
I said get back to me immediately, meaning let's talk about it immediately. This isn't like give me a yes or no immediately. Okay. And that's the difference. It's just letting them know, hey, you don't have time, but they don't either. And every candidate I have has to know in the back of their mind, and I'm not lying to them, but there are other people that could potentially come and interview for this job and take the job anyway.
It sounds like she's putting a hard line in. It sounds like she's putting a hard line in the sand in regards to that next baby step, which I'm perfectly okay with, because I don't think anybody on this chat right now is actually going to try and close an individual, even Rich, on like a first call. You got to have conversations.
Well, I'd be closing it.
Rich, I just felt like picking on you, by the way.
Everyone usually does.
Tommy.
Lonely at the top,
let me
Mike,
say something first, Tom, before we go to you. I just want to say, nobody here, this show's been on a long time. I used to take it seriously when people didn't show up. So I got stiffed, ghosted by somebody I knew who had booked to be the guest, okay? And I was pissed off. But
I've apologized for that several times.
Was that you, Michael?
It turned out that her husband had just asked her for a divorce. She wasn't feeling very happy. You don't know what's going on. Maybe that was the rice. Maybe she had a trauma in her life. Tom, over to you.
Well, first off, she would have felt better had she done the show after getting a bad question like that. So you can't overlook the medicinal value of the show. But we're assuming that the recruiter got a chance to rebut the candidate. What if she had said, "I'm cooking my rice," click, then what? We're assuming that you've got all day to talk to people. I mean,
But here's the issue. I'm with
Well, okay.
Mario on this. What if she's just like this candidate from Andy, who's very rare? You can't. She's got you over a barrel. Okay, you can't push her around. That's my impression. That's my take. Anybody else want to come in on that?
Yeah, you do that with I mean, you do that with a lawyer, you're gonna get booted on the spot. I mean, if you work with a lawyer, lawyers take their own cool time and take decisions. Okay, they're
I
not
know
gonna.
Ernie's got an opinion as well.
Uncle Ernie, please.
He doesn't turn
Can't
on his
hear you.
mic. Your mic's not on, okay? Your mic's not on. Wake up, Ernie.
Leave Ernie alone. We caught him between naps.
Okay, sorry. Are you there now?
No.
Do we have you
Nada.
now, Ernie?
No, we still don't. His system is muted.
No te escucho.
Did I mute it?
No, Ernie.
So what's,
He muted.
Is it working now?
Hey, there
Yeah,
you
it's-
are.
Yeah, okay.
There
We
We got
can't
Ernie
hear
now.
Animal now.
Ernie.
No, hey,
Do you
you
have
know,
an opinion? Do you have an opinion?
you just gotta kind of go with the flow. At that moment, you deal with it. But don't get pissed off at the rice. It's fine.
Okay, thanks. Thanks.
Don't get
That was
pissed off
really
at the
worth
rice.
waiting
Candidate's
for.
got to eat too.
Yeah, she probably has about 12
No,
kids.
no,
Everybody's
don't.
lining up with a rice. But like Claudia already wants to delete her profile. No.
That's
Nice,
the
Claudia.
impression I got.
Nice
I
job,
don't know
Claudia.
where you guys heard that. I think
Nice.
you guys are hearing your own stuff.
Andy Bass, come in on that because I keep referring back to your beautiful case. Of the
I
unique
just
candidate.
I just think that immediately it was kind of like too like straightforward, but still like if it's like an opener and if it sounds okay, I mean at the situation, then I think it's okay. And yeah, with the drama.
What's okay? What's okay? With me, I'd be saying, okay, yeah, okay, call me whenever it's good for you.
I need the
Animal, I'm
money,
with you on that.
please. I need the fee.
Yeah.
Maybe
you gotta ask the
to
question, was this
direct
person from the
word
Ukraine?
immediate to the particular situation, kind of to switch the focus, not on the person, but on the situation. Like I need this answer because the client is immediately wants to know about this particular case because he has something. I maybe direct
Well,
this.
you're right. I mean, you just got to figure out, hey, listen, are you listen, I get it. You got to get back to your rights, but are you seriously interested? I get it if this exact second doesn't work for you, but let's talk tonight at some point for 5 minutes. That's all.
I was just going to give Ivan a chance and he's disappeared.
But
Yeah.
folks,
Yeah.
sorry. Excuse me, Ivan. So sorry. Animal, I
I
totally
hate this.
agree.
I hate that.
This
Actually, I hate the
same thing
situation
happened to
now.
me in
Yeah.
December and Jan of this year. Last
What
year.
happened?
The candidate was immediately offered a position after the first interview, and she was taking her own cool time to decide. And the CEO got back to me and he's like, this candidate is not interested. I said, no, give her a chance. She's interested. She broke my heart and she crushed it with a knife. She stabbed it, not crushed it. She stabbed it into pieces.
Who's got the
Okay.
violins?
I got some group household. I'm just very impressed also with Mario, the recruiter.com improved his visuals and his
thank you.
audio.
Thank
It's
you,
so
thank
much
you.
better. But I want to ask something.
new hairdo, too.
Claudia's new here, and what's wrong? Why can't I get guests for the recruiting animal
Hey,
show?
dude,
I mean,
hey,
is there
think about it, man.
something Is there something wrong with the show that it's not fun or people are afraid to come on? I mean, Tom's
Yes.
been on about 5
It's a
times.
whole lot easier to join
people
on like
are-
I did
Michael,
many
you're not
years ago,
Claudia.
just
He's asking
as a
Claudia.
member of the Peanut
not asking
Gallery, and just hanging out and listening and interjecting from time to time. A whole lot
Same
easier
here.
than saying, Claudia, teach us something or die.
Good. She's not afraid. I can tell. What's with the
That's fine,
show?
but dude, that's kind of intimidating.
How come I'm having? You
It
know
is
what?
actually.
How come I'm having so many problems? You have any feedback, Claudia? You've been here for 15 minutes already. A half an hour.
You're an
I
animal
can't really-
veteran.
I can't really give you any good feedback because I didn't know about the show up until you sent it to me. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then I
Oh, you've
did
been
look at
here.
a lot of the
You
I
gotta
did look at a lot of
advertise.
videos and I was a little intimidated to maybe potentially come on. But I came anyway because I do things that scare me and I had the time off. So That's all I
What,
can.
what
Claudia,
was
kudos
intimidating?
to
You
that
had nothing
point.
better to
Kudos.
do.
And how do you have
I
the
like
time
that.
off?
That's awesome.
If you've got the time off, I've got plenty of searches we can do splits on. So
You know her,
You
Rich?
got time off?
no.
Hey,
Not time
I
off.
do.
I just had a period open between my meetings. Yes.
no, never mind.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was
how do
gonna
you
say,
guys
I
schedule
got
so many
splits in
meetings
your
in a day?
hometown.
Yep. Okay. Let's talk.
Okay, let's talk. Okay. Let me see. What about time limits? Do you? I think Tom, you believe in them. Giving a person, I have to have an answer. Well, first of all, Tom, what about what Claudia said? Okay, she said you should never not know if the person's going to
Never not
accept the
know.
offer or not.
Well,
She
yeah,
said
I mean,
that.
it goes without saying that I am going to be doing constant follow-up, making sure we're on the same page. If something bad happens at the end, I'll be nice. I'll ask first time, are you really sure you want to go ahead with this? Give you the time you need. But again, that with Rice Lady, then that next morning, if I don't hear something back that makes my toes tickle, she's out. That's it. You can always start nice, and then you resort to violence later. That's always my motto.
I've never had my toes
But did you
tickled.
tell her? Look,
Freak.
think about it for 24 hours. Otherwise, I'm out. Okay, is that what you would actually tell her?
Nobody's
No,
gonna use those
I'm a
words.
little more diplomatic than that. The first thing I would say is, look, take some time. It's a big, you're doing your rice. I'll call you tomorrow, something like that. Then if I'm not hearing anything, then I go to guns.
Okay,
Then
so you
it's
don't
a-
make a threat. Does anybody else want to
Well,
say?
With
I'm
Rice,
giving you
I
a
don't
hard
believe in
stop.
threats. I just hurt people.
with
does
Rice
anybody
Lady,
say- yeah.
you just ask her what time. Okay, you're making your rice. What time should I call you back? Her
Yeah,
answer will
dude.
depend.
You ain't gotta be a
Her
pain in the
answer will
ass about
depend
it.
on whether or not she's serious or not.
I got guests for dinner, Ernie. I'm not free today. I said I'll call you tomorrow.
What time do we talk then tomorrow? If you tell me, if you don't give me a time, if you drag me
Let ask-
along, then
let
we
me
move
ask you a
on.
question. If someone says, if you call this person, hey, I've got the offer for you, I assume they already knew the offer was coming, right? It wasn't just out of the blue. I suddenly have an offer for you. I have to think if someone is that interested in a role, they can spend 5 minutes to say, hey, what are the numbers? Let's discuss. You can start thinking about it. I mean, they should already, by the time you get the offer, they should be able to say yes anyway.
She had
So-
3 interviews.
Yeah, well, she had 3 interviews, but she must have known the offer was coming. Or
Well,
did
maybe
they-
that's why she's being so pissed. Maybe the 3 interviews have drug on for 6 months and all kinds of crazy stuff. Now they're just nonchalant about it and couldn't care less. Maybe that's the problem.
Okay, now we're fantasizing. Okay,
Is
this
the
Yeah,
is-
I was
offer
like, we're
is the offer
speculating
in
a lot.
That's
front
what
of
I do,
her?
Michael. That's how I go through life. Delusional self-confidence.
I love it, Tom. That's awesome.
Like,
Okay,
the only hey, hold on. When I put that hard line in the sand, it's because of the process that I have, and like just what I've been taught is that you have control of that entire process, always talking to the person. So if they're not like towards the end, like you know that they might say no to you, and then you just go back to the questions you asked before, like why do they want to go? Because I'm not trying to be like wishy-washy on this, but I do ask more than what's important to you than just like money and PTO and crap like that. You want to know why. So then if they tell you something like that, you're like, but you told me this, this, and this. So what's the problem? And that's
Okay.
usually what ends up happening, which is
Well,
why it's not never animal. Stop putting like absolutes in my vocabulary.
You know
Look
what?
at her.
She's
She's
like
gotta get
Jerry.
down.
She's
Look
like
at you
Jerry. I
go.
quote her
She's
a
good.
minute after she
love
talks.
it.
I actually
She
heard
says, I'm
her
not
in the
quoting her
background. She was
properly.
doing double snaps, dude.
Yeah,
Just so
I
you
think
are
I saw
aware.
that too.
Okay.
I know I'm stepping off.
I think you heard it screaming.
Yeah.
I can't move my
Well-
neck that way, but my wife does that
Tom,
when I.
Tom, our friend Stephen Nahez, he was a guest on the show not that long ago. Okay,
Okay.
maybe I shouldn't quote anybody by name, but he said a lot of recruiters want to be the candidate's agent, advocate, best buddy, wingman, etc. Okay, they think that if they can secure, that's his word, an emotional bond with the candidate, it's going to cause the candidate to feel guilty about saying no to something they don't want. He said, I found that candidates reject offers because it really means they don't want the job. Don't try to talk them into something. Don't try to use any emotional blackmail. So what about first of all, let's separate that into parts. What about this idea about building rapport and being a friend? Because everyone's always saying, oh, it's all about relationships. Okay, and that's what
All
he's
about
talking about,
relationships.
being a friend. You try to be a friend and I'm your advisor. You
Got
can
a
trust
friend
me.
in me.
Tommy,
No, I try to connect with people, but it's all transactional. It's based on if I don't have something that they want or interested in or potentially interested in, the connection is not going to mean anything because they don't need a drinking buddy. They don't need a fishing buddy. I certainly don't need another friend. So it is very transactional, but you want to connect, be professional, and that's the relationship I'm talking about. You need to be pertinent. And that's what builds that trust.
So
Understanding.
yeah, don't be verbose, okay?
He
Yeah,
said-
no,
he said-
I'm not their friend. I'm a business associate. Is that what you're saying?
Yep. That's it.
Ivan, business associate or buddy?
It depends on the candidate. I mean, some of my candidates became literally friends, and
Yeah,
others
okay.
are like.
How
just-
many? How many? What percentage of your candidates became friends?
Actually, like one guy invited me, like
All
to
his
his
friends
whatever
are ex-candidates.
restaurant,
Andy
whatever, like
Bass,
another one.
friend or
Yeah, absolutely
transactional?
support
Like Tom
Thomas.
said, transactional
yeah.
business associate, not trusted financial advisor consultant either, okay? Or maybe that's a fair thing. Tell me if what you're aiming at. What's your relationship with the candidate?
Why are we trying to define relationships as like warm and fuzzies and drinking buddies and all that BS? It's just, look, I have relationships with everybody. They're just low-level relationships. Hey, man, I haven't heard back from you. Send me a text, let's go.
Candidate
Okay.
relationship. Like
You
that.
all
Here
guys
we
in
got-
the house.
Client
Okay, so
relationship.
in other words, what I'm hearing is no friendships. This is not recruiters, not your friend, not your
Padre.
Tom McGuire. Hey, the guy with no
So,
URL. Okay.
I use a term that you guys might not like because everybody here is a guy, but I usually refer to as like building your own like old boys network, but just not with boys. Someone that can talk about you and build you up to the job that you really want. So that's my job to do. And if this is what you want, then I'm going to help you get it. I do get paid on it. And if it doesn't work out, then whatever, we move on. But
You're a friend. Okay, you're in the friend camp. I'm your
No.
friend, your old boy.
You build long-term relationships. You
Look,
build.
she
Look,
just
you
said
gotta
I'm going to be
realize
part of
that
your old
recruiting
boys
animal
network.
might
And
not
why
be
say
listen,
you
very
want
it's
to be a
about
friend?
someone.
She says no.
It's about someone that can go and talk for you and talk you up, essentially. So fine, if you want to call it a wingman or whatever you want to, but that we're not like buddy. I don't.
Rich
I
wants
don't
to
put
say
myself out
something.
there.
Rich wants to say something. Go ahead.
No, I just say you build long-term relationships. I mean, this is not a transactional business. I mean, I mean, I've got guys who I've played multiple people who've placed 5 or 6 times over 26 years. You give them real advice. It's not always that's not always in your best interest, unfortunately. But you give them real advice, so they come back to you. So they tell their friend to come back to you when they get in a hiring position. You use you instead of the guy that may have placed them.
Is he disagreeing with you? Transaction.
I don't think we're really fundamentally disagreeing. I think
No,
what
of course
Rich is
not.
talking about happens over time. But it's still based on having a mutual interest, something the other person wants. I even look at marriage as being transactional. If it's not mutually beneficial, why bother with it?
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm confused.
You could set. It's all
I
about
learned
setting
nothing.
the tone. It's all about setting the tone. No matter whether it's friendship or business or whatever, if you set the tone. One thing I noticed that Richie Rich does is he laughs all the time. He laughs all the time. It could be business as heck, but if you listen to him in his whatever he does, it's always laughing. He's got a few, and that sets the tone. It
That's
makes
his
him comfortable.
personality, but that's his policy as well. He always says,
no, he's
you
laughing on
gotta
purpose.
have
He's not
high
laughing.
energy on the phone. Am I right? Am I quoting you correctly, Rich?
Finally,
Rosen?
yes. Finally, you're quoting me correctly.
It's high energy. It's high energy.
Look at
But
this
the
one.
tone of it. You got to listen to the tone. If you come off real business,
Yeah.
it ain't gonna happen.
It's Ernie's right. It's all about the tone and the energy. And I apologize to Dualta. I was supposed to do a show for Dualta today. Totally didn't see it on my calendar. So
Well, he had to chase you here. Uh-huh.
I said,
I'm
don't
gonna have to
sad.
give.
He's
I'm
like,
gonna have to give him back the check I pay him to come on.
I know,
and-
seriously. It's
What
it's good
happened to
things.
your
I
hair,
lost power.
Dualta?
I did
What
lose
happened to
power
your
at the beginning
hair?
of this thing, so you're lucky.
Stress of being in a business with my wife. It fell out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, there's a question. There's a question. Tom, are spouses significant? Do you check about, hey, have you talked to your husband or spouse about this?
Yes. Oh, sorry. Tom.
Always. Yeah. Or is it? I always want to know anybody else in the decision-making process that can have an influence as yay or
When do you
nay.
bring it up? When do you bring it up?
when there's a mutual interest established, when I know the client likes the person and the person likes the client and they want to proceed down the aisle, that's just one of the standard questions. Is somebody going to get cold feet? Is somebody going to tell you no? Those kind of things.
Anybody
If
else?
somebody's moving location, that would be the first thing I'd be asking.
Yeah.
And you gotta,
I only worry about it if, like Dalt said, if it's a reload, that's a big deal. If it's just a job change, not as big a deal.
But you also got to word it not just in terms of spouse, but anybody in your family will object to it. Anybody that's close to you will object to it. Because these days there's so many different kinds of relationships. I had one fall because the 8-year-old didn't want to move.
Yeah, Ernie's going to get cancelled here. Somebody stop him.
Ernie, la suegra. You got to make sure.
Suegra, the mother-in-law.
The mother-in-law.
Suegra.
Yeah,
it's usually in a screening call. In a screening call, I'll be like, hey, if you're offered the job, how soon would you be able to start, type of thing. And then that leads to the conversation of like, what would that process look like if you were offered the job? Like, would you need time to like think about it, or would you be able to accept right away, or who do you have to talk to about it? That's kind of where it leads.
You ask, is there anybody important in your life that you got to talk to? So this is a go.
This is a basic sales process where you got to make sure you're speaking to the proper decision maker.
I never ask it. Anybody else?
These are really different. These are really different times because I know, say, my dad's generation, even people that are in my peer group, the man's in charge and the family goes along, but that's not everywhere. Dealing with in the millennials, it seems like every decision is made by committee, so you have to account for that.
Hey, I'm Generation X, and I wouldn't dare even make a job change without saying, "Hey, honey, I'm gonna be doing this." What do you think?
It's kind of a flashback. In the old days, you would always call the home the landline, and as the wife or the spouse picked it up, you'd bring up the job location. You get all this background. But nowadays, everybody's got their mobile phones. There's no landline. Just a thought.
Yeah,
it's interesting actually about spouses.
Andy, let Andy talk. And then
about spouses, what I see like in the blue collar space in the Ukraine, we have wives applying for their husbands to work.
Oh wow.
Interesting thing.
That used to happen to me a lot in skilled trades here in the States. A lot. And I would get messages from spouses or mothers applying for their people. Yeah.
Mom and Andy is a job.
You too, but to work.
Ivan, did you want to say something about spouses? I thought you were starting to say something. I have a funny quote from Rich, okay? Because I want to bang because Tom has answered Rich on a lot of conversations.
Good luck with that, Rich.
Okay.
Thanks, baby.
Rich said he sent a recruiting email to a sales rep, and the guy wrote back to him, "Stop spamming my work email, fuckhead." Okay.
That's awesome.
But he wrote back. You wrote back to him. Okay. Yeah. You wrote back to him. You want to tell? Should I read it, or do you want to say it yourself?
You can read it.
He wrote back. Remembers that far
memories than I do.
He said, "Hey, look, I get you don't like getting unsolicited email. Maybe you're at one of those crazy companies that actually look at your email. I reached out because of recent changes at your company and thought you may be interested." Anyway, he gave a nice reply back to this person. But the moral of the story is that people are keyboard tough. They're much more inclined, according to Rich, to be nasty in an email than if you actually talk to them.
Well, did Rich sign it, fuckhead?
It wouldn't be the first time, but no.
Your friend, fuckhead.
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't think most recruiters would agree with you to be on the phone. I mean, everybody seems to be in agreement here, but I'd say that's not the standard practice.
But you should have a templated email when you get some schmuck that sends you some obnoxious email. Like yesterday, I made a stupid mistake, sent a blast email out, totally full of errors. Like the mail merge thing wasn't right, so it said first name instead of Jim. And I got all these tough guys who didn't respond when it was when I actually sent a proper email out. suddenly we're all English professors and respond and tell me all my errors. You know?
No, but you actually posted as well.
Yeah.
He posted
Yeah.
once that he deliberately makes mistakes.
I do. I
because
mean,
he
I don't
finds
really care
people-
if I have errors in my emails. And if you go listen to any real email writing experts, most of them will tell you, don't make it perfect. Don't
Yeah.
make it as
So
perfect as
that
I
was
made it,
you.
but
I gave one of my recruiters that advice and it worked.
I know.
And I
So-
can't remember where I read it. So
No,
yay,
it
high
works
five.
great. But so,
Tom.
Yeah.
so yesterday, so when I sent this email, this
You probably
original
read it
blast
somewhere
email out,
else.
when I
Somebody
had
smarter than
this,
Rich.
this original email
I
out,
heard
and then
that.
I had some low percentage open rate. I sent a follow-up email to the same 80 people I blasted and just said, oops, embarrassing on my subject line. I got 75% open rate in seconds, you know, and I got a bunch of candidates out of it, despite having a crappy email. You know, you just got to get and open it.
Tom,
So
Talk to me.
any email tips from you?
Yeah. Send them early and often. Don't be daunted by people that complain. I don't give a crap. You're going to get emailed until one of us dies, just like I will call you until one of us dies. But I like what Rich says. It doesn't need to be perfect. I write like I talk, and take that for what you will. But I get responses, and that's pretty much it.
You know,
if somebody,
I want to talk about what Ernie said. You're different from Rich, but there's something similar. You sound down to earth and kind of talk, I don't know, friendly, but talkable. Rich, Ernie, would you agree with me? He's got a manner that's not very stiff, but come back to that. I'm going to try to contact you until one of us dies. Okay. Is that that's your motto, isn't it?
very much so.
Lots of recruiters don't agree with you about
That's
that.
awesome.
I don't care.
I swear.
I don't care.
Well,
Nobody
don't you
needs
get
to agree with me.
after the 10th approach, I find after the 5th, they get pissed off. After the 10th, what happens with you? Don't people start sending you those emails like they sent to Rich?
No, as a matter of fact, when because the world's not a static place. When the world turns, I get thanks for contacting me. Now I'm ready to do something.
yeah.
I just hired a guy that I met 6 years ago that I stay on top of and smother.
So, but why would a guy get pissed anyway? If he was pissed, he would have got back to me on the first email or the third email, the fifth email. He's got no right to be pissed. I should be pissed for wasting my time chasing him.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
Anybody?
Yeah,
else
there
wanna
you
come in
go.
on-
Yeah.
Mario, did you have something you wanted to say?
No, nothing. I totally
you had
agree
your
with
mouth
this.
open. You had your mouth open.
No, I-
Tom,
How do you know
He
when
was
he
just in
dies?
awe. He was an awe animal.
I was in awe.
Tom.
I accept I was in awe. I totally give you that.
okay. Tom, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, I'm just having fun watching all this go back and forth. This is good stuff. If anybody's got any ideas on a serious note with medical marijuana, just how it relates to your state laws, anything like that, I've had to not hire 4 people that I've extended offers to on the day they went to go take their drug test. They're like, Tom, I can't pass this test. I have a medical marijuana card, so my insurance company won't do anything with that. And yes, I've told them 6 times up until that point that we're going to drug test you people. So anybody
That
got
seems to
anything
be
with
your
that?
that seems to be your hugest issue. These drug tests. Am I right?
Yeah, because I'm insuring people to drive my trucks, and I have to send people into people's homes. So there's a big liability there.
What kind of people do you place?
I do skilled trades, plumbers, electricians, HVAC guys. So I have to be really careful because I can't send some highball into Mrs. McGillicuddy's house, and
No,
Does
that's
anybody have a closing question for Tom? Anybody else want to ask him a question besides me? Okay, he's a martial artist. He's a down-to-earth guy. Nobody else wants to ask.
I always
this
think
guy.
of like somebody drawing or painting, something martial artist. It seems like, what's the
He'll-
art?
this guy will
Hey,
rip-
hey, listen.
the arts.
Michael, they draw with their fists and legs. Okay, remember that.
Oh,
No, no,
The
Yeah.
art.
he-
But I love martial arts, so that's something.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
but he's actually
Yeah.
studied.
Right.
He studies how to take on multiple attackers.
I've been in
like
multiple bar fights. I don't call myself an
like
artist.
Jason.
Yeah, you're a brawler,
You've
man.
been
You're
in
a
a bar
brawler.
fight, Michael G. Cox. You've been in a bar fight.
Yeah, you hit a glass on the wall and said, "I've had a bar fight."
Mhm.
Okay.
Wow.
He was hammered. He was fighting with himself in the mirror.
Final
Yeah.
words, Andy Bass. Andy Bass, something you want to say before we go?
Yeah, I wish you all a good day.
Give your domain name.
Need a good Bond villain exit.
Yeah, we want to
domain
find
name?
you.
Andy Bass.
NUWORK.
I want to get. I want to teach Andy Bass how to present himself. And recruiting animal. My domain name is.
NUWORK.me.
Okay, I didn't hear it.
That me.
Ivan is
Proven
clang.so
serum
if you need an ATS. Claudia doesn't have a domain name, do you? Or do you?
redzonetalent.com.
Redzonetalent.com, thesalesrecruiter.com, mariotherecruiter.com, software. What did I make you?
I don't
Software
remember.
recruiting sales.com.
Your
the famous
software
frozen
recruiter is
food
Rich
industry
Rosen.
recruiter, and the
Yeah, I know,
famous
I-
Tom Chuna. Thank you, Tom. You didn't get much chance to talk today, so you got to come back
Sorry.
again.
Yeah,
Wave,
yeah, today was
everybody.
fun. Good to
Wave.
see everybody. Thank you.
Don't make me the only one who waves at the end. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Bye.